Well, I can tell you this much. Things definitely are not slowing down or calming down. This morning, United States Coast Guard, they're a faction, I guess, of DHS. I was unaware of that until reading it earlier today. But one way or the other, they had a little operation in between Scotland, a little bit northwest of where the UK is, and they seized a Russian-flagged oil tanker. And the only distinction I can find on this is basically that they're flying a Russian flag, but is it really a Russian ship? Nah, your guess is as good as mine. They renamed the ship. The ship was basically supposed to be subject to this Venezuelan blockade. Obviously, you've been paying attention to all the wildness that's gone down in the last week and a half about the Venezuelan leader being captured, I guess, in the oil blockade that we're currently enacting on Venezuela in the Caribbean. But oil tanker gets seized. As far as I understand, the oil tanker has no oil on it. It's empty. They seized it anyway, basically, I think just as to prove a point type thing, as like, hey, we're running a blockade. If these ships are running in and out of Venezuela, we're putting a stop to it. That's what it is. Overall, not the crazy part of the story isn't really that we took this oil tanker over and turned it around and sent it back. It was on its way from Venezuela to what everyone's presuming basically is Russia, but the destination wasn't known at the time, and they flipped the ship around and turned it around. Now, the interesting part is, it's been reported that there was Russian ships coming to escort this oil tanker, presumably to Russia. Definitely a submarine, and I believe some other type of naval ship. I don't know what it was as far as exactly the type, cruiser, missile cruiser. I don't know. I don't know enough about naval ships either to tell you one way or the other. But I do know that a submarine was out there. There's no reporting on how close it was, how far away it was. If there was no conflict directly between the United States and Russia in this case, but the ship was there, and they were obviously sending them out to escort this oil tanker back. It's kind of a weird scenario. There's people speculating left and right. I don't know if, not to get too deep in the weeds, but I don't know if you've ever really played video games, but I think it was it COD Modern Warfare, where you the one mission towards the beginning of the game is you get on a Russian freighter ship, and they break into it because there's a secret, some type of secret cargo, and it ends up being, I can't remember if it's a missile or if it's the nuke itself, but it's some kind of nuclear weapon. And then there's obviously already people speculating like, hey, was Russia trying to like smuggle nuclear weapons into Venezuela prior to this, and they turned that ship around and headed it back? Because there's also people commenting online. I don't know how much truth it is. Obviously, what I said about Call of Duty is completely like, I'm just completely just making things up, but it would be crazy, and it does seem weird that we intercept the ship, even though if it doesn't have any oil on it. Venezuela produces the oil, and then it sends it out for refinement. So normally the ship leaving Venezuela should have the oil on it, would make sense. And there's pictures of this oil tanker, the way it's sitting in the water, and people commenting that they apparently know what oil tankers look like in the water. I'd have to look at a bunch of other pictures to tell you one way or the other. But they're basically saying it's sitting too high in the water, that if it's loaded down with oil, it would sit way lower in the water, and they're claiming, hey, this one's empty. What else is on the ship? Who knows? Will we ever find out? Don't know that either. Overall, I don't think it's pretty clear that it's like Russia's coming out and claiming, hey, it's a Russian ship, we're flying the Russian flag. The U.S. is being instigating conflict with us, basically, and being confrontational. And the U.S. is claiming like, hey, this was like a dark ship, like an unmarked ship. It has multiple different names in the past. It's been evading our blockade. We tried to stop it at once. It basically, I don't know how they got away with it, but they basically turned down the Coast Guard boarding them when they were trying to leave a week and a half ago from the Caribbean or something like that. So pretty wild. This is just constant escalation to the Venezuela situation. along with this, the United States is basically seizing 30 to 50 million barrels of Venezuelan oil to supposedly be sold at market prices, is what Trump is saying anyway. They're going to sell it at market price, which when I was looking, the article I was reading, this is 1.8 to roughly like $3 billion worth of oil. And if I remember right, they're producing like 1 million barrels a month, or 1 million barrels a day. 1 million barrels a day. So this is what, a month to 2 months production out of Venezuela right now. And they're going to seize it, sell it, and then Trump is coming out and saying the funds that is going to be, they're going to sell it at market price, and the funds are going to be used for the benefit of Venezuelans and the United States alike. I don't know what that means. Nobody knows what that means. If you want to try to get in Trump's head about it, try your best, but I think you'll find it a difficult task, because I don't know if he even knows what the fuck's going on half the time. But $2 billion roughly. What they're going to do with it, I don't know. Honestly, I think the smart PR move here, I mean, yeah, sure, take 500 million of it and do something with it in the United States, but take 1.5 billion and easy PR win, just get some food into Venezuela, help the general public out as much as you can, and get the ball rolling in the right direction, get off on the right foot. And that's, like, I think that's an easy PR win. We'll see if they follow through with that. I think that's, hey, if I was in the situation and that was my options, that I get to dictate how this money is spent, that's how I'm going to do it. I think that's the easy way. You come in, it's like the medieval time, you come in with the wagon full of food and just start passing food out to everybody. And if these people are in as bad of a situation as everybody claims they are, obviously they would take kindly to that, I think. And this all is kind of culminating in the fact that it seems like the United States military in general, under the current administration, is getting pretty bold with the shit we're doing, which, I don't know. Generally, everything depends. I'm never going to really come out and say, like, hey, I think this is a bad idea anytime we do anything like this. I know the conversation about, like, regime change, we took Maduro, and people are like, hey, that's regime change. Nobody liked when we did regime change in the Middle East, but now this is good because Trump's doing it. It's like, no, it's not. It's everything is obviously more complex than people give it credit on the internet, but it is fun to talk about it that way, where it's just like, it's an easy, like, oh, you were for this situation, but now you're not. It's like, all right, well, okay, if we just exclude all the details and all the differences, sure, I guess you got a point. You got me there. But there's all that talk. There's talk about the Monroe Doctrine, about the United States and its actions in the Western Hemisphere as of right now. And it does seem like I said, we're getting more bold with the decisions they're making. And honestly, it all depends on the outcomes here. Like, we'll have to wait and see where this all leads and what happens in the end. But generally, I don't disagree with the general thought process and the idea of the United States. The idea of the United States as a superpower, as the global power, but also the regional power on this side of the world, doing what it can within reason. Like, obviously, it's the same thing. There's an acceptable region, there's a gray area, and then there's like an unacceptable region. Like, if we would have just, to get rid of Maduro, if we would have just bombed the building, like if he was in a residential building and you just blow the whole building up and kill a bunch of civilians to take him out, it's like, dude, no, that's not acceptable. Obviously, that's on the other side of the spectrum. Go in and capture him in the nighttime and only wipe out his personal security detail, in my mind, acceptable. That works out fine. And now if the whole country falls into civil war and shit goes terribly wrong, definitely shouldn't do that. Hindsight's 20/20, but I don't think anybody can predict how this situation is going to unfold to a T, one way or the other. But the fact that the United States is using its military power, economic power, to lock down the Western Hemisphere and our region of the world for our benefit and our security, I think is beneficial, is a good thing generally. It's not the same as going to the Middle East, whether it's for oil security or trying to instill democracy or whatever you want to say, nation building. That is definitely not the same as us with what's happening in Venezuela right now. A country should be self-interested to a point. There's always there's always a line somewhere. As of right now, in my mind, we haven't even got close to the line as far as what's like, you're pushing it too far, it's unacceptable. I think social media obviously goes a long way to have people just instantly polarize, and it's like pick a side. I want to make another video about the Minneapolis ice shooting thing, because that's happening as we speak right now on Twitter. People are on X. People are losing their mind on either side of this issue, just because they're just like gut reaction to something, and they react one way favorably or disfavorably. And that's fine. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to react however you see fit. But I think logically, the actions we're taking currently in South America, Central America, the United States are reasonable. I know there's some wild talk right now about buying Greenland and things like that too. And it's like, hey, if they want to buy Greenland and it's reason, like, if you can prove to me the benefit, I don't give a fuck. Buy Greenland then. If there's a cost benefit and we win on the cost benefit, we take it. The whole goal is to win as a country. Like, the United States has been in a position where it's ahead of everybody else for a long time, but to maintain that, there has to be action at some point. Like, obviously you hope it's not militarily, you hope it's not violence and conflict, but there's a point where it's like Russia, China, they were obviously involved in Venezuela. They are not the friends of the United States. They don't wish to see the United States succeed. China wants China to succeed. Russia wants Russia to succeed. They're together in an alliance over there. Overall, it's either, not every time, but in a lot of ways, it is a zero-sum game when it comes to who is the global superpower. We currently are. China's making a push. They want to be the global superpower. How far off that is, couldn't tell you. But we should do everything within reason, in our power, to ensure we stay the global superpower and lock down our side of things. And honestly, I think in Venezuela's case, I think it could benefit not only us, but them as well, just because they were in such a terrible situation with the way their government was set up and run and who the people in charge of their country were. You see videos, obviously it's propagandistic one way or the other, of Venezuelan citizens in the streets celebrating after he's taken. There's people waking their family members up in their bed to say, hey, Maduro's gone, and they celebrate. And there's people in the United States, generally lefties and like liberal type people on the political spectrum, criticizing, condemning, protesting the capture of this dictator, murderer. And then there's Venezuelans coming up to him and being like, where are you from in Venezuela? Nowhere. We're happy about it. You guys are out here protesting, have no idea what you're talking about. And for the most part, most people don't know what they're talking about when it comes to geopolitics. I've made it pretty clear in past videos, like, hey, this is currently evolving. I'm learning just because I find it interesting. Am I a Venezuela expert? Was I a Venezuela? No. Am I ever gonna be? Probably not. But I want to talk about it, and it's pretty interesting, and I'd like to hear what you guys think about it. So let me know. Leave a like on the video if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't. And like I said, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. And like I said, I think I'm going to try to make a video tonight about this Minneapolis decision. Jesus Christ, I can't talk today. With the shooting and I think killing of this lady by an ICE agent. So it's developing, but it's going to get bad. I can anticipate that right now. So I'll catch you guys then.